We now return to Roy Stories Season 3, Tales from Tewanta, Episode 5, The Fighter Pilot.
Wilson Port, Tewanta, 3305, July 18, 1815 hours, Galactic Standard Time. Captain Fredericks stepped up to the podium in the official Tewanta Order pilots' briefing room and surveyed the assembled pilots. There were about 30 in attendance, including a Spec Ops wing.
Our objective for these engagements is simple. We need to cause as much damage to the Bavarian Protectorate fleet as possible. They are numerically inferior to us and are stretched the field forces to each conflict zone. Taking out their large ships should be priority. These will be difficult to replace.
She put up a slide with a picture of two anacondas.
These are the Dauntless and the Liberator. Intelligence believes that they will be present in the next engagement. Destroying these will deal a major blow to the enemy. There's also likely to be one or more independent pilots supporting them. Destroying these will also be a major blow to the enemy. Be aware, they fly heavily modded ships and utilize unconventional tactics. Here's what we know.
Captain Fredericks walked the pilots through all the intel that had been gathered about the independent pilots in the space of about 20 minutes.
Well, launch time is in 2100. Good hunting, pilots.
Conflict zone near Macomb City, Tewanta, 3305, July 18, 2017 hours, Galactic Standard Time. Jennifer N., Special Ops Wing Beta pilot, took stock as she dropped into the conflict zone. Plenty of ships already engaged in combat. Her wing had dropped in about a minute behind the main force and was about 9 clicks from the center of the fighting. Jennifer cycled through the enemy contacts. No sign of the Dauntless or Liberator. But she did detect 2 independent pilots, Commander Thomason and Commander Burr, flying a Type 10 and an Anaconda, respectively.
Delta, follow me and engage Commander Burr. Beta, Gamma, engage Type 10.
Jennifer pushed the throttle to full in her Vulture on her way to the Type 10. There were a trio of enemy Eagles. Jennifer targeted the nearest one and pulled her trigger. Her large gimbaled pulse laser erupted to life. They were heavily engineered and had a phasing effect which allowed some of the energy to bypass the target's shields. The Eagle tried some evasive maneuvers, but Jennifer was by far the more experienced pilot and was able to anticipate the Eagle's every move. In about 10 seconds, the dogfight was over. She then closed in on the Type 10 of Commander Thomason and opened fire. The Asp took out the other Eagles and continued to work on the last one. An unengaged Eagle could be a right pain. Best to get rid of it before committing to the main target. Her lasers flared on the Type 10's shield. It continued to attack the Viper it was targeting. 2 beam turrets and 4 multi-cannon turrets rained fire into the unfortunate Viper. She continued raining fire on the Type 10. She was doing damage, but slowly. The Type 10 finished off the Viper and then targeted her. The turrets turned towards her and opened fire. The Vulture shields flared. The Type 10 turned to face her and 3 railguns discharged in her direction, narrowly missing her.
Randomus, that was close,
she said to herself. Over the course of the next 5 minutes, the 2 ships circled each other, blasting at each other's shields. Both pilots used shield cells to reinforce their shields. Both ships were blown to the last ring. Jennifer had no idea how the rest of the battle was going. All her attention was needed for this dogfight. Suddenly, the shields on the left-hand side of her Vulture flared. Another ship was joining the engagement. She glanced at the contacts panel. It was another independent pilot, Commander Bob 48, in his Federal Corvette. Her shields failed under the onslaught of the Corvette's pulse laser and multi-cannons. The distraction allowed Commander Thomason to bring his railguns to bear. She was in real trouble. She finally glanced at her tactical display properly for the first time in a few minutes. It was a sea of red triangles. Her side were being slaughtered. None of the rest of the wing was visible. She presumed they were destroyed. She boosted away, trying to put distance between the 2 commanders, taking hits from both sides as she did so. She wasn't able to outrun the Corvette, however, and a second Corvette flown by Commander Lord Tywin joined the pursuit.
Thrusters offline,
intoned her COVAS.
Hull integrity at 25%.
No, this cannot be happening.
She tried going into silent running mode. However, the Corvettes were too close. They rained fire into her tumbling Vulture.
Hull integrity
Judson Station, Mizar, 3305, July 21st, 2100, 2 hours, Galactic Standard Time. Jennifer walked down the ramp of the passenger ship in Judson Station. The past few days had been a whirlwind. Her escape pod had been picked up by an independent search and rescue ship that had delivered her to Velbin Hub in Rohrbrunner. Standard operating procedure would have been to report back to the Order. They'd send a ship to pick her up and she'd get back into the flight rotation. However, the war against the Burian Protectorate was not one that could be won, and she knew that she wouldn't be as lucky as she was twice. So, she deserted. She got a job as a ship-launched fighter pilot on an Anaconda escort vessel for a convoy of Type 9s heading to some place called the Witchhead Nebula. It was well outside of the human-inhabited bubble of space. She'd be quiet and dull. She could live with that for a few months. And if there was trouble, well, she'd be on the biggest, baddest ship out there.